Welcome back to Morning Barbados. A blast from the past. Hal Martin, how are you? Morning.
Good morning, Barbados. I'm very well, Doug. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Same here, man. Yeah. Long time.
Yeah, you never get old, do you?
Just trying to keep up like you, look like you, Doug.
I feel like I've stumbled in on an old boy's line.
Let me introduce you.
I mean,
let me introduce you to a newfound friend. This is Katrina.
Katrina, good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you on Morning Barbados.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And I'm hearing a similarity in the last name of one of the artists who we had on yesterday.
Yes.
Is there a John Martin somewhere here?
There's a John Martin in the house somewhere. That's my son, my firstborn.
Well, he is doing wonderful things with that book.
What makes more talented than you are.
I'm not getting into that.
Doug.
I'm not getting into
me.
Chip off the block.
Yes,
but seriously, he brought a wonderful portfolio yesterday, Doug, of some of his work. Art seems to live and be around him, and of course the book is inspired by his daughter, which we hope will be on shelves and in schools and in homes and in living rooms and even at bedtime very soon. But what we're hearing off set is the hiss of an airbrush. Mm-hmm. Tell us a bit about this aspect of his work, because I'm scared. I think he's going to be painting us.
Yeah. What my son is going to do this morning, in the brief period, he's going to do a portrait of one of you. I'm not going to say which one. Mm-hmm. And Doug?
I think it's Doug.
You think so?
I think it's Doug.
I think you're much prettier than Doug. But I leave it to the artist.
I concur.
But what is going to happen, he is going to do this while, we do the interview this morning. By the end of the interview, he will have a portrait that should look like you, Doug.
Is this something that he does normally?
He was doing it from age 11. This is his talent. I discovered it about age 18. Little story, when he went to LSD school, and his headmaster complained that the youngster, he said, Hallie's like you, he's stubborn, and he just does art. He does nothing but drawing and drawing and drawing. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, look, let him do his drawing. Mm-hmm. When he's finished school, then I would educate him. I'm a school teacher. So I have no problem with him doing his art. And that's how it started at LSD. And then at age 17, I had him working in the hotel with me, and he came to me and said that I want to pursue this career. So I sent him off to New York, hooked up with him about a year later, and he presented a portrait of me. So I said, you did this? I said, okay, let's go to work. Then I took him out to LA, and that's where he perfected his skills.
Mm-hmm. And he's kind of being pulled back to art. In our conversation with him yesterday, he's done a lot of things. He's teaching now, had a family, but the art pulls him back, and we can see why. I mean, we've been taking a look at some of the work. He's moving very, very quickly over there in that sketch. Where do you think the work of things like media, like airbrushing, is going to go? I mean, we've seen it on sneakers, we've seen it on sidewalks.
Yes.
Where is it going, and where is he going to take it?
This is a great medium to utilize the youth. They must have an avenue for the expression, and I'm using him as an example for the youth. And I've asked him to come back to share this with, like, for example, the guys on the block. Mm-hmm. They can sing. The guys on the block are tremendous artists, but there's no outlets for them. So I want to give them an opportunity to show them that they can reach their dream by using this as a medium. So I'm asking him to be an inspiration for the youngsters.
One of the things John, I understand, has been involved in is the restoration of a picture of Old Bridgetown. Tell us about that.
Well, I had the hotel about 30 years, and I bought it with this picture of Bridgetown. And it annoyed me because when I look at the picture, even though I commend the art, I know how much better it could be. Mm-hmm. So I've been asking him for the last 2 years to come and do a restoration of the
Well, you know how it is. The carpenter's children never have shoes.
Absolutely.
We're looking at some of John's work now.
I am excited that he decided to come back and do the restoration.
How's it coming?
Just based on that video, based on the image we have on screen there, it looks as though it's moving along very nicely.
Yes.
Moving along very nicely. Well, we're hearing the puff of the airbrush.
Yes.
I've been peeking over John's shoulder.
I'm trying to see what he thinks I look like.
You'll have to wait until the end, Doug. You'll have to wait until the end.
Yes.
But we're thrilled that you've brought John back,
yes.
and we're looking forward to seeing his work. And as he said, an inspiration to young people.
Yes, yes.
JohnMartin, morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Listen, you have a wonderful subject to work with today.
I agree.
That is incredible. I mean, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it. That you could just, during the course of 20 minutes, just do such wonderful airbrushing.
Yes, thank you. It comes natural to me. It just flows. It comes natural.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't know how you do it. Is it you find it easier working with subjects like people or abstract work, or what?
Like I said the last time I was here, I love people, and I do find people easy to work with. I always observe people, and portraits is my specialty.
Oh, well, it's obvious. You do a very good job with portraits. Gosh, look at that. Wonderful. Wonderful. My goodness. So what other work are you doing in terms of your portrait work here in Barbados on this trip? What other things are you doing? Which other subjects have you been working on?
You are my first portrait here in Barbados.
Oh, okay.
But I'm available to do more portraits. If anyone wants a portrait done, I'll be happy to do one for them. I know you're speechless.
You're right. I am speechless. No one will believe it.
Yeah.
My son will be very, very happy. Katrina?
I'm just listening and watching the event unfold, and you're looking rather smug and very, very pleased with your portrait, as well you should be. John is back, an artist who clearly works very well in all media, and his very proud father Hal is here still with us talking.
Yes.
Art just comes from John. I feel like he's always pulled to it, he's always drawn to it, there's always something to do, but the formalizing of it, tell me a bit about that journey. How did you get it? You know, you said you first saw this thing that he did for you and you said, right, let's get to work. How did you get to work in an area where, you know, you still have the perception of the starving artist?
Yes. Well, you know, my background is business. I do business. I move people, I look at their dreams and I make it happen. I made my money by working with doctors, making sure that they have the practice to work with the equipment and all of that. So it's easy for me to work with my son. And LA is a place where it's a breeding ground for artists. Mm-hmm. There's all kind of avenues. So it was easy for me. When he came to me with the idea, I said, well, look, let's do LA. So I set him up in a store and voila, there you have it.
And I take it that setting him up in an enabling environment was a better business move than perhaps an environment like the Caribbean, where we have talented artists, but we do not have an environment yet that encourages them in a broad-based kind of formal way. Was that a hard choice for you?
No, the youth need exposure and connection. Let's take, you just saw Rihanna with her music. Mm-hmm. So it's, you know, a similar parallel journey. The first world country, United States, particularly offered the young artists, depending on whatever their discipline is, it offered them that immediate exposure and opportunity. And I'm hoping that John can spend some time with us here in Barbados, because I brought him in to do, as Doug mentioned earlier, we do the portrait of Bridgetown, you know.
We're going to take a look at some of that work. Yeah, we're going to take a look at some of that work.
But it's an opportunity for to give the young people hope. You know, they're going in all directions, they can use their skills. And if a young man like my son, coming out of St. Andrew, you know, can do this today,
sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit for the young people.
I want to ask John, how difficult it was restoring this piece of work?
It's not quite restored, it's redone. There's a lot of stuff that I put into it that wasn't actually there, a lot of detail that I added. And again, art is my love, art is what I do, and it just flows for me. And I mean, to others who do not really understand the talent of art, I believe that talent coming from God like that, I just open up and allow it to channel through me. And it is, I can't really explain it, it just is.
Giving it the John Martin touch, what special elements you brought to that piece?
The special elements would be...
We're not there.
The sky. I add the clouds, which represents peace and love. You'll see peace signs and hearts in the sky. And the detail to the Parliament building, which I understand is the third oldest parliament in the Commonwealth. And I wanted to represent that. I wanted to do it justice. So I went downtown and I took an actual picture of that building to make sure I got the detail correctly. I like to, if I'm going to recreate something that's already in existence, I love to make it as close to that as possible.
And I saw the touch-up work there with the old-fashioned vendors.
Yes.
Yeah, in the square.
A touch of old Barbadiana there.
Old Barbadiana. Yeah. How do you blend the two? Because you talked about going back to Bridgetown, looking at it, and then remembering that this is yesteryear. How do you?
Well, my process is simple. The building haven't changed. It's the same building. The buildings around the Parliament building have changed. So I researched the cars with my dad's help. He drove some of these cars in the early 70s. So I researched those cars and got the detail. I searched the internet to make sure the cars represented that era. And the people, it was easy for me to just recreate and add people within there walking down the streets back and forth. It's 4:20 in the afternoon, in the evening, so at that time there are a lot of people on the street. I want to make sure I got it right.
Have you seen other pieces of work here in Barbados that you think can use your touch?
I'm sure there are many. I wouldn't expose or say anything that specific, but I think Barbados could appreciate this kind of work in detail. I came back here specifically for that purpose, to recreate this piece. It took me a year to come back. My dad had been asking me for a year to come back to do this, and I'm here, and I want to get as much exposure and give Barbados as much exposure to my type of talent.
What's next? What other big project you have in the works? Knowing your father, he has something else working for you.
Actually, you can come to the Regency Cove Hotel. I'm doing this is the first one. I have about another 3 pieces and probably more that I'm displaying within the hotel.
And you're also going to be doing airbrushing of individuals.
If that comes up, I probably will. And with you saying it, I guess there are many out there who could and would want that kind of work, so yes, I would be.
Listen, I endorse his work, I'm telling you. Excellent, excellent. You should do something for Katrina, though. I think she'll make a wonderful subject.
I agree. She's very beautiful.
Doug, I think he's done you wonderful justice, and I'm quite happy just to gaze on the work that has been produced so far. I very much appreciate local talent, local art, and a man who is humble enough to say this talent comes from God, and we just let it flow. So I'm happy just to see your portrait, Doug. Hal, final words. It seems as if you said the sky is the limit. We're restoring paintings. We're doing airbrushing. We're painting signs on shoes for Missy Elliott. We're writing books. There's no end to this young man's talent. What's next? How do you harness all this raw, bristling kind of adrenaline so that it has a degree of longevity?
Katrina, I'm on my way out, whether we like it or not. So
no, you're younger than springtime.
Katrina, you must be realistic. All I'm trying to do is make sure that we hand over to the youth. The youth is our future, and we've got to make sure we create an avenue for these young men to move forward. So this is one of them. There are a few more. There's the business side of me, and it is my intention to sit with so-called the boys on the block, the Sean Hines, you know, the Tony Kelman. These youngsters are the guys out in Pori Spring, the guys in Shop Hill. These must be targeted in order for the young fellas to move forward and take the ownership of our country.
Well, you talk
Barbados.
About, you talk about opening avenues. This is a whole highway that John has opened. And I have one more question for him, Doug, if you will indulge me. Or perhaps you want to ask.
No, I was curious as, you know, the Bridgetown scene. Have you thought about influencing it with some old Bajan characters, you know, the King Dial?
Actually, yes, King Dial. King Dial definitely will be there.
Okay.
He will be there.